The Visited by Voices Network is a consortium of content creators who explore genre art. Our collective aim is to jumpstart conversations in the horror community by providing unique viewpoints. We come to film and books with all the baggage and experiences from our everyday lives, and this allows us to see works through our own independent light prisms. At VBV Network, we reject groupthink, consensus, and social standards in regards to what makes narrative arts work. You may not often agree with us, but there will always be a respectful place for you to add your opinion to the mix.
Welcome back to the first of a new show. So I can't really actually invite you back, can I? Right. This is kind of an old show, kind of a new show. Used to do it with as few people as possible. Now we're going to do it with as many people as possible.
Kidding, man.
Jesus. This is pretty much the network. We're missing one.
Yeah, on the way. Well, you're missing two.
Yeah. Well, we're missing actually more than that because there's more shows to premiere on the network soon. So this room is going to get really, really fucking crowded.
I will still always be in the middle. I am always center square.
Sam has always been the middle child.
She called dibs.
You know, the crazy thing is that like it auto-generated her in the center, but then when I took everyone out. Thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Opened up a meme. My bad.
He's going to collect your phone now, Jonathan.
Phone's in the bag.
Damn it.
But when I regenerated coming out of the intro, I just clicked in order, and she still was in the middle. So there is something there.
I'm the center of the universe. This is known.
That works.
She has smaller podcasts orbiting around her.
Mm-hmm.
That's all of us, guys.
Right.
So, how's everyone doing today?
Been a laid back Sunday, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, just chilling.
Sports day for me.
Okay.
So Sam and I
movies and rest
work.
I'm on my 14th. I think I was on my 14th straight day of work, and I don't know anymore. So.
Oh.
I have inventory this week. I don't have days off. Yeah. Awesome. Retail, the life to live.
Good times.
3 minutes past midnight here, so my day is just beginning.
That's an excellent way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So don't ruin it, people. All right. So thanks to everyone who's already joined us. The chat's already moving. I really do appreciate that. We haven't done a live in a while. Is there anything anyone wants to announce or anything anyone wants to promo before we get into this?
Dead End Drive-In, right here on the network.
Yeah.
With the most shows of the recently premiered shows, it's you and Colleen are like fighting for are like in a knife fight for most prolific.
Well, I've got the samurai sword, so
there you go.
It's not all about size, Colleen. At least I hope not.
Right.
If you haven't checked out any of the individual shows on the channel from the people you are seeing, everything has been well past my expectations. It's really good to have given a home to some people who didn't have a home and to have given a new home to people who are sharing homes. Some people have more than one houses, like Sam.
I know.
Sam is the 1%.
That's correct.
But only on YouTube, I guess, which doesn't mean anything.
So this is Occupy Texas.
Ugh.
Actually, everywhere is Occupy somewhere at this point, I guess. Oh, that was really close to violating one of the few rules of the network. Anyway, I want to start off today with talking about something that's probably not as controversial as where I almost went, but I think is probably worth discussing, and it's directly related to what we do, which is the subject of modern film criticism. And I'm trying to get this to run. Thank you. Oh, no, it still didn't do it. There we go. So what we have here is a internet critic, not the old school critics, a modern one, who reported on the week that The Empty Man came out in theaters that it was probably the bastard cousin twice removed from The Bye-Bye Man or Slender Man, not good company, and it's a total bore.
Wow.
You may hate the movie. I'm comfortable that there's probably a percentage of people who did not like The Empty Man. But I think when you look at this very short, sharp review, it makes it very clear that he didn't watch the film.
I was about to say
there's no way this would be the conclusion. However, this would be the conclusion you drew from the trailer, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess what I'm interested in exploring here is what is our role, our responsibility? Is it just to be honest? Which I'm not attacking Nate Adams. He might be a great guy. Maybe an editor did this. Whatever. I don't know. I'm attributing it to it because he attributed himself to this statement. But what is our responsibility when we go out there to discuss film? Now, we're not critics per se, I don't think. We're in the discussion of film. But I do think we do have some responsibility to at least watch the films that we...
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
It helps.
And also to know that not every film is for you. You know, it could be for someone else. You know, so
yeah,
I always try to keep that into account. So,
well, when I was doing all the writing of all the film review, whether it was Asian film or regular horror films, even book reviews, I would always I never really bashed anything. I would give my opinion and just say, look, you might like it, not necessarily my thing, but I'd always be honest in terms of that I've seen the movie, first of all, and just kind of what it's about, and give them a sense, say, beyond just the trailer, and see if they were interested in it, even if I really didn't go for it.
Yeah.
Stone, you might be the one with the most analogous history here. What do you think the responsibility is?
I think the responsibility is to be honest, but also respectful. I wrote for many years for DVD Verdict way back in the 2000s, where, we were expected to, not directly criticize certain individuals that were involved in whatever movies they were, and certain boundaries that we shouldn't cross or whatever. I just criticized the movies, but I did so in a way thinking that, well, I didn't care for the slasher movie, but I'm sure horror films will get a lot more out of this slasher movie than I will, or any other examples like that. I mean, I've always just tried to be honest but respectful.
Yeah, I think the honesty is important because, I know from my own standpoint, when my website was more active, I used to do a lot of anime reviews. I used to get the review discs through from a couple of distributors. And a lot of those I wasn't particularly fond of. It was just a case of trying to say that I didn't like this aspect, because then people know that they might look at it and say, well, actually, no, I love that aspect, so that's not going to bother me,
Right. Yeah, because we're all wired differently, right?
Exactly.
So I think it depends on the conversation too, right? So this comment from Jay is a good example of, I think that if you're having a very informal conversation and there's a wider conversation about a movement in film or several films, sometimes you can be a little bit more pointed because it makes a lot more sense. Now, it still comes down to, I hate the fact that sometimes if you don't say, my opinion is, or it's in my opinion, people take it as if you're telling them what they should think, and I would never do that.
Right.
People are going to believe what they're going to believe, but I also shouldn't have to preface everything every time.
Yeah,
right.
Anything that I say is always my opinion.
There are certain films that you do hate, though, and it brings an emotion out, so you can't help, what I mean, to stress that and get it to convey that point. You know what I mean? So.
How many times do I need to get in trouble over aliens before everyone gets it?
Get out your VBV bingo card.
It pretty much is.
There is context, though, isn't there, as well? Because if you're doing like a review for a professional magazine or something like that, your tone's going to be very different than if you're just discussing it with a group of friends.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to cut loose a little bit more, I would hope, with people that you know, and they're going to know when it's just your opinion, and they're going to be adults about it. You would hope.
Yeah. I think, I mean, in that case, it's very painfully obvious that they didn't watch The Empty Man. So that does warrant criticism. You cannot like The Empty Man, but The Empty Man's a lot deeper and there's a lot more to it than The Bye Bye Man. So that does annoy me. I see a lot of mainstream outlets that sometimes I do catch them because they'll say something that makes no sense if you saw the movie. And that's kind of an example right there. We used to, I won't say who they are, but we were a part of a fairly major website years ago, and they really put too many restrictions. Like, you're not allowed to be too critical of X, and X. So we didn't stay with them very long. So I don't know. I think just be honest, because people can tell if they watch you regularly. They know your personality. They can tell if you're throwing softballs at a movie. And just because it's indie too doesn't mean it's above criticism. You know, that was the big issue with this site, because they focused on a lot of movies that people made for well under $10,000. But you know, my answer to that is Found. If you haven't watched Found, that movie,
bingo.
It's been a while.
You can do it. That movie, I've heard, as low as $6,000 budget.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
and Found's an amazing film.
Movie.
So.
It is.
Story is free.
Well, you should be paying your writers.
It'll stick with you
yes.
in a minute too.
Please pay your writers. Don't take anything from this episode.
Then the case that they directed it, wrote it, edited it, all of that. So,
but you're right. There should be no reason for gaping plot problems in any released film, no matter if you're streaming it onto Tubi or whether it's going to hit 4,000 screens in America. You should have spent the time before making the film to work that out. So that's fair criticism.
Which is why nothing is above criticism.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's up for grabs, but you just have to be respectful about it and realize that not everybody has the same taste. Not everybody's going to like the same things you do, you know, and you just go with it. You just be honest, respect your audience.
And that is, I think, what it's about too. I don't think we were writing or speaking reviews for filmmakers. We're doing it for people who may watch these movies, right? So a conversational tone is important, but also an amount of honesty. Why would you write a review like that review in which you're bashing a film you didn't watch? And again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this guy actually watched that movie and came to that conclusion. I just find it wholly unlikely. Does it? A quick show of hands. Who honestly thinks that there's any correlation between The Empty Man and Bye Bye Man except the title?
I haven't seen it, to be honest.
Okay.
I've heard a lot about it, but I need to check it out. I mean, I don't watch a whole lot of new stuff.
Oh, it's
really
excellent.
Don't.
It's excellent.
It's because of, you know, there's so much new stuff I don't like. I mean, it's getting redundant, man. Rinse and repeat.
Well, that's not
this.
No.
Was that?
That's not this.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there are some original new stuff coming out, but I just I kind of stay between the 70s and 80s. I don't know. I need to kind of like change that a little bit. But,
if you watch the first 14 minutes of the film and you're able to turn it off, you can call me in the middle of the night to scream at me. I guarantee you won't.
I've heard great things about it. I'm gonna check it out.
And this isn't to promote Empty Man as much as it is just to say, like, you know, when you go online, there's a lot of choices.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of film out there, and we only have so many years to live. Some of us less than others.
Yep.
Right. So why are we going to spend our time watching everything and hoping to eventually hit something we love? We're not.
Right.
So we need some guideposts with some reliable voices out there. You know, if you want to know what the best sleazy 70s sex comedies are, you're going to call Dan. It's what you do.
Why do you go to me automatically, Lauren? I mean, come on.
Read the room, Dan.
I happen to know them
from a website.
But why do you guys think that you would go that route of a review, that putting a review out there that's clearly not completely honest or completely reflects the movie that you're supposedly reviewing? Why would anyone do that? Why are we at a place where there's a market for that?
Engagement, social media makes a good tweet.
Laziness.
I say engagement because it's a shocking-ish statement, and it's naming a bunch of other properties, so it's going to get picked up on the search engines as well, isn't it? So it's just going to drive the traffic.
So
they want to get the content out, but they don't want to do the work to do it.
So, Lauren, is that actually from a tweet?
No, it was from a review on a website.
I'm very surprised.
Wow.
Yeah.
Could be AI too.
What?
It was before
Could
that.
be AI.
It'd be kind of early.
That's Dan's default answer now. Just like fuck AI.
As I continue to tell people, one original region-free cast member was AI, but you have to figure that out on your own.
We're all gonna just have to like cut our hands before each podcast so the audience knows for sure.
Nope, you have to like heat up a needle and stick that in the blood. That's the only way to know.
There you
I'm
go.
on the rag, so I'm already bleeding. So can we just use that for mine?
Zing. Let's.
Ooh.
Okay. No.
Ah.
If I have to be cut, so do you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bleed every day of my life anyway. I have no accident.
Should not be bleeding when you do that. If you do, see a doctor.
That's a different problem.
I'm sure there are robots that recreate blood in that way somewhere out there.
No,
ready to Google how that works, Lauren.
But I mean, the reason that, the engagement is a big part of the reason why we do this. And it's like, even if it's not a tweet, still.
So I guess that would lead to the next obvious extrapolation of this, which is, so if reviews out there online, or even just tweets or whatever, it's so easy for things to become just kind of the common answer.
Mm.
We live in a very fragile time, whereas information can have a life of its own. And like Empty Man is lucky because it kind of grew a cult following afterwards and is now greatly respected. And that wasn't the case when it came out. But I'm wondering if there's a lot of films that are suffering or unfairly benefiting from kind of this, the internet believes, because two people said close to the same thing back in the day. Because I certainly see films and I go, is this like good enough for all the praise it's being? And I've also seen the opposite where I'm like, this is way better than what people say it is. It's not the trash. Right. So how will it affect the art? Like now you're a filmmaker or a writer, and you're looking, what do people like?
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a dangerous place.
Mm.
I guess it's like sheep stampedes go in different directions, right? Like, I don't know.
Because unfortunately, Dick's
you got bandwagon love. You know what I mean? But it seems cool to like something. Everybody all jumps on the bandwagon and likes it. When somebody everybody considers it's cool, says it sucks, now all of a sudden it sucks.
Yeah, Late Night with the Devil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of it.
Still haven't seen it.
Seems to love it.
I don't know. I kind of late to the party on that.
No, but I mean, just everybody overreacting to the use of AI in Late Night with the Devil and insisting that is a reason not to see it.
To see it.
The handful of those images that are made by AI, and I'm like, wait, didn't somebody have to make the AI do that? Doesn't that count as a human job?
So
right.
Would everyone be okay if we pause for a second and I destroy this argument forever, hopefully? Is that okay?
All right. I'm ready to go. I'm braced.
Thematically, that movie tells you what it is about in the beginning of the movie. I'm sorry if you haven't seen the film, but you're still going to have a great time with it. That film tells you it's about the 70s. The world is falling apart. And it shows you a montage of all the awful things happening in the world at that time and the lack of faith we have in all of our institutions. Then it tells us that people are turning into late night television for their release, but they're watching something that's fake and surface. Okay? They're watching something that's pure escapism that doesn't at all reflect the world they are. That's why there's all the cheesy jokes. That's why we see the cheesy joke monologue. No film would spend 6 minutes on that unless it was important. Okay, so the film is about things being inauthentic. Why the fuck wouldn't it use AI? It's fucking perfect. It's the right tool for the right story. Everyone that has a problem with it needs to shut the fuck up. And I say this as a content creator in many different forms.
The technology's here. It's gonna be used. I mean, I would never personally just, do I want to read an AI generated book? No. Do I want a completely AI generated movie? No. But they're going to use the technology.
But every time you see CGI in a movie, you're seeing AI.
That's what I was getting to.
That's what I'm saying. Using it as a tool, that's one thing. You don't want it writing movies and coming up with ideas, writing books, shit like that. But I mean, I don't see any problems in using it for, I can't draw worth a shit, right? Like, so I couldn't draw if I was a low budget filmmaker and I needed to make, 70s era time, like transition cards, I can pay that monthly subscription to the Chat GPT for $15 and it'll spit it out at me. Or I could try to get one made for several $100s. Like, come on. I mean, if you really support low budget filmmaking, like, you shouldn't see the issue in that beyond what Lauren said.
And I'm sure there's going to be some horrific use of the technology. Right,
absolutely.
Corner that we're all going to just want to, cut out our eyeballs over. But again, this tool is going to be here. Dan's right. It's going to be here. If every film used it as well and as limited and for the right reasons, like Late Night with the Devil, we live in a very, very, very good world then. So this is not the place to draw your line in the sand. It's just stupid.
Yeah,
I didn't spot it, to be honest. I mean, I didn't notice when I watched that movie. So I looked.
Intercards. I mean,
it was just the cards, like when they're coming back from commercial and you're getting, night owls. That it was just that.
Yeah, until somebody told me later, I wouldn't have known.
I think it's an effective way to use AI. Like, all right, man, I see it. Yeah, you needed these. This thing can make them. Why not?
And it's sad too, because I know Late Night with the Devil may be a movie not everybody's going to get, but, even though I was born slightly at the tail end of some of the stuff that they were covering, I watched a lot of old, like, Criswell interviews on Carson and, old school Halloween specials.
My dad bought those Carson VHS tapes, and we would watch those, like the best of Johnny Carson. For only 23 easy payments of $29.95 to Time Life.
But that having the fake psychic is the whole point of authenticity. It's the themes coming through. And then you have the real thing, and of course people don't know how to respond. But then the movie is intercutting and saying, "Well, is it real?" Again, it's kind of thematically similar to the second Blair Witch, but it's such a compact package, and it doesn't have the baggage of having a previous film.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are not getting it. I get it. How does that work? That's not a sentence.
I loved the James Randi shit, and Huey Geller and all that. Like, I'm such a nerd for all that. And that day that I was talking to you guys, I was like, I want a Bohemian Grove or like a good. This is not Bohemian Grove, but like it is of that.
Yeah.
Like, so that just I was just complaining I wanted something like this.
Like, for anybody that's seen the movie, and this is not going to destroy your viewing experience. So, but for the people that did see the movie, do you think that they're conflating like Moloch and the Bohemian Grove with the Braxis cult?
Yeah, and that Philly cult as well.
Well, I need you two to explain this to me, okay? Because I do love the Bohemian Grove mythos and stuff, and their thing is a 10-foot owl named Moloch that they sacrifice and effigy too.
Right.
So how are they like? What's wrong about like what's categorically wrong about what I just said, basically?
Well, Lauren, you can take that up because you know more about the Moloch stuff than I do. You were the one that touched on that first.
Well, I mean, biblically, Moloch was the calf god worshipped throughout Mesopotamia. That when Moses went to the mountain to receive the commandments from God, that the Israelites who had now felt abandoned by him took up worshiping, and they erected a golden calf. He comes down, sees the golden calf, has a little hissy fit, breaks the tablets, screams at them, goes back on the mountain, gets 10 different commandments that have nothing to do with the original 10 that we all know. Boil a calf in its baby's blood, this kind of thing. But the god that they were worshiping, the Mesopotamian god, was Moloch, which was a calf god.
What the fuck does the owl have to do with anything?
I don't know. You need to talk to your friends at the Bohemian Grove.
The all-seeing owl.
Yeah.
The all-wise, all-seeing wise owl is, symbolism.
This is why Lauren lost his Sunday school gig. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and
that's not the reason, but we can't get into that.
Yeah, and the part with the Abraxas cult, like, I couldn't find any sort of like connection between an owl and Abraxas, like, and I kind of already had some background on Abraxas to begin with, but because like Abraxas is like badass. It's the Gnostic deity. It's like a god. It's like a deity above God and the devil in Gnosticism. And Abraxas has the head of a rooster and also snakes for legs. Super metal.
Also,
it's also a Jesse Ventura movie. Sorry.
No.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was saying, I do know a little bit about the owl, though. I mean, it sees things in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a heavy symbolic deal with that. So,
didn't you bring up, Sam, that like the owl, like wasn't it like a messenger for Moloch or something? Or
that
like,
was in Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
that was,
fuck.
I was not like I legit fucked that up, and it was from Mortal Kombat mythology.
Oh well.
Wait, I want to point out that there's now in the common zeitgeist the words Mortal Kombat mythology.
Yeah, no, there's a whole world that exists around that. There's a game called Mortal Kombat.
I think mythology has descended over the years in its breadth and meaning.
Well, you obviously aren't a Mortal Kombat fan and don't know the mythos.
I know, right? Have you ever just like you don't understand the sheer joy of like picking out a random Mortal Kombat character? Like, hey, I'm gonna go look on Wikipedia for Ermac, and I'm just gonna keep falling down like the Mortal Kombat rabbit hole and clicking on random links within that. Just go deeper and deeper and deeper.
Listen, I can be the atheist who can do the Bible stuff. You guys can do the video game crap from the 80s, and we'll be fine.
Listen, I think, you know what? It's one of those things. It's like wrestling, Lauren. If you just gave it a chance, like a real chance.
What's that line from The Opposite of Sex? I haven't tried communism, but I know that wouldn't work.
Well, if you knew anything about wrestling, you would know we don't like commies, okay? In wrestling. Like, that's the whole thing in the 80s.
Yeah, I don't think we ever had a successful commie baby face.
We didn't, man. Nikolai Volkov was not.
And here we go.
Yeah. So who do you think Lorne would main on Mortal Kombat?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Oh, I bet he'd be Raiden.
No.
I bet Lorne would want
Raiden.
to
He's Quan Chi all day. Just paint him white.
That sounds racist.
Well, you can't do white if you're already white. It's a double thing.
Oh, what about Kano? With
maybe
the little eye thing over, it's perfect. Like in Mortal Kombat, like 3 Kano. Isn't that when he became bald?
That's when he became all.
Can I just talk about
that was when he became bald
in the Bible? Which is what they substituted out Lilith for because they didn't have any balls to keep the woman in the Bible.
She was cavorting with demons on the beach.
She was. Well, not on the beach, but she had her times, definitely. We have Nephilim because of them. Wow, that went off course.
Nephilim.
Fuck it. Where can we get that discussion going? Is there a separate? Let's just talk about fucked up shit, y'all.
I did just drink some like matcha latte with functional mushrooms, so there might have been people in here at some point.
Nice.
I was just discussing with someone today that flavored water, the bubbly flavored water, is getting so ridiculously popular, right? There you go. I'm pointing the wrong way. But I was thinking, like, how great it would be if we had Japanese tourist flavored water. It'd be big in California hotels. There's about 6 people who are going to get that joke. Colleen, you better get that joke. Actually, that's your whole fucking thing.
It's
that's your gimmick.
You're just thirsty a half hour later.
Yes.
You can have a little photo of Eliza Lamb on it. Pushing buttons on an elevator. Be like the flavor of today. You guys know what illegal chips is? Do you guys know illegal chips? It's a potato chips company.
Oh, you told me about this. The best chips on earth
as a flavor.
What?
Horse meat as a flavor.
No, I hate horse. I'd be down to eat horse chips.
Google illegal chips right now, guys. Get your orders in. There's an affiliate link. There's no affiliate link, but just order it. You can get maggot cheese. You can get horse meat. It's amazing.
Ew.
Ooh, fugu.
Well, I mean, we have hog-head cheese down here.
So hog-head cheese?
Yeah,
you know what head cheese is, don't you, Dan?
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. Yeah, you do it with a hog's head. You're just not doing it with a calf's head.
Oh, but they don't leave the tetrodotoxin in the fugu. I don't know. Man.
Did you just say English words?
Yeah, it's the poison.
Wait. Sam, you need to turn on the English to Southern translator.
Please. Wait, no. Sam's also she's way farther south.
No, but that's a different South.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not even south, y'all. Just so you know.
I mean,
you can't say South, y'all, and say you're not. It doesn't work.
I'm pretty south. I'm down here in the boot, the swampland.
Yeah, and Jonathan was disowning you just a moment ago, claiming he's northern because he doesn't like it.
No, I'm just saying I'm tired of Kentucky being Mississippi-fied.
Oh.
So, Matt, have you had kangaroo?
I haven't had kangaroo. No, I wanted to get some kangaroo and some crocodile for over Christmas, but it was just so ridiculously expensive. I couldn't cover everyone. So
what's kangaroo like?
Is it legal in Australia? Because you can't hunt them, right? In Australia?
Well, I'm not in Australia, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, there you go.
See?
Well, the thing is, we were all your colonies at one point.
No, that's true.
I have had an alligator, although I don't recommend eating alligators because they are like my favorite animal on the planet. But
they're all tasty though.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. I think people like
chicken.
I missed out on gator.
It's
some blackened alligator tail.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Really good.
The only time I ever had it was like fried on like top of fries. It was.
See, I'm not offended when people want to kill a cow or a chicken, but I get offended about anything that would kill you in the wild if it was just you and them, no weapons.
That's why you feel like a badass eating it.
We're overpopulated here. So,
well, that's how the alligators feel about people, though.
Yeah, true.
That's the thing. If it can kill me, I kind of look at it. This is the only win I'm going to get over this thing is by buying a steak of it. So.
That's right.
Wear the gator shoes on the way to order some gator and just be like, take that, bitch. What's up?
The whole gator suit, you know.
Yeah, one up for the naked primates.
So I guess this is a question that only Ben and I can really answer. But Colleen, you're close. So is it Taylor ham or is it pork roll? Come on, people.
Pork
and
roll.
if you don't know what it is, take a choice anyway.
Is this related to long pig?
No.
No. Pork roll.
That's people.
It's pork roll. Definitely.
It's pork roll.
Have any of you had pork roll or Taylor ham?
I've never heard the term Taylor ham. We've had a pork roll, like if it's like, you know, the little pork rolls that you put in the crock pot and you just let it kind of roast. But that's,
Well, you can do anything with it.
Right. That's just what, you know, we usually end up doing with
I don't know what Taylor ham is now.
Why do they call it Taylor ham?
Was the pig named Taylor?
So have you ever looked at the wrapping around your pork roll?
No.
It says Taylor ham. But it's definitely pork roll.
Yeah. That's weird.
Hello, Dustin. How are you?
What up, dude?
Hey.
Mecha Khan on the what are those called?
Very cool.
Yeah.
Avatar, I think is what
Avatar,
you're looking for.
Correct. Not the movie or the band. Ben asks, what would be the worst monkey to get eaten by? Well, if you mean as you wrote it,
did you say monkey?
I fucking subliminal message his ass. I said monkey, and he did it. Oh my god, that shit's real, y'all.
It would suck to get eaten by a baboon, to be fair.
I'm saying chimp.
No, and I'll tell you why. They're more likely you'll be unconscious for the worst of that. Bears,
not before they get your dick, bro.
Is this the man versus bear argument?
Well, sure, but the bear is going to hold and eat you alive. It's just going to get you, and it's going to eat you while you're alive. A tiger, whatever, your throat's getting ripped out, you're gone.
Yeah,
if we're going with primates, then mandrills, you're going to be eaten alive by several of them. But I would say in terms of any animal, I do occasionally rewatch a video I found on YouTube as to what it would feel like to be eaten by various kaiju. And I could say Mechagodzilla feet the handed down would be the worst.
Matt, I have to tell you, I need some sort of cryptid documentary show with you narrating that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
What would it be like to be eaten by various kaiju? Very David Attenborough-esque. You have a future, my friend.
You just made him Paul Hogan, though. That was more Hogan than Attenborough.
Hey, I've got one for all of
Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to be eaten by the Van Meter visitor?
Yes, I'm there. I'm there. Nobody steal that idea.
I'm comfortable with a spin-off show, Matt. I'm just saying. Actually, the thing is, I think if it would be an animal that shouldn't eat you, because then it's like not only are you dying by being eaten by the animal, but also the embarrassment of being the guy that was the guinea pig for that animal group. Like, you get eaten by a deer, you have some explaining to do on your tombstone, right?
Yeah. But what if you're the one that gets them to develop a taste? You know?
Well, I'm good for that too, because I'm dead already. We have to face apocalypse by deer. I'll watch that movie.
Maybe if that's that zombie elk deer virus, whatever it is, maybe we'll get another mutated prion out of it.
There is a short story out there, I forget who it's by, that talks about giraffes having long necks so they can lay down and swallow you whole. So that would be quite horrifying.
Oh, I was just thinking about giraffes too.
Wow.
Yeah, we're lucky those things don't eat us.
They're friendly. I've fed a giraffe before.
Yeah, I fed it some lettuce. I fed a giraffe lettuce one time in Florida. Weird thing white people do in Florida now.
Yeah, you're not supposed to wheel down your windows at the Great Adventure Safari where you drive through animals. But everyone does, and you can pet the giraffes. That's cool. My suggestion is that if you decide to go through the monkey enclosure, you keep the fucking windows up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your car's already going to lose chrome. You don't want to lose body parts.
That's a thieves.
That's a very Jersey thing too. So we have Six Flags here. We don't call it Six Flags. We call it Great Adventure because we have things like monkeys that can eat you. Mm-hmm. That's a ride.
Damn.
So you go into the monkey enclosure and you come out with 2 less children.
I know a person who ran through one. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So it seems like consensus is going towards primates here.
I humbly disagree. And Darren has a good point in the chat. Grizzly man. There is audio out there of that guy dying. And
listen,
that sounds
positive that chimps go for your wiener first. Your dick and balls are gone, Dan. Immediately before you get to pass out, they're taking off your hands, your face, and your dick, and you're just laying there like a bloody skunk.
Well, again, Jersey for the win. We have that chimp that tore that woman's face off.
Oh my God. How are we still doing this, by the way? Where we're just like letting the worst qualified people on earth be like, you know what? I think
Jonathan, you are a terrible libertarian.
I'm saying as a community, like you ain't got to make a law about like if just people would be like, hey, asshole, you can't keep a goddamn tiger in your horse trailer.
I think they should be allowed to do that, but I also think they should not be able to call for help when they get eaten.
The problem's not when they get eaten. It's when that dude like killed himself. Where was that? Where the dude killed himself and let out all of his tigers?
Oh yeah. I don't
They had
remember
to
where
chase
that
down
was.
tigers for like a week.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if you're gonna do that, at least wait to see what they do and then kill yourself. Wouldn't you be like dying of suspense?
Okay, Ben wants to double down on this. What animal would you want to be turned into, like medically?
Medically, like
in a tusk situation.
So at least one person in this panel is a secret furry and is not going to have a problem answering this at all.
There you go.
There's no secret.
I think this was covered actually on the channel once.
It was covered on the interview I did with you guys.
Isn't dog though the easy answer because you're familiar?
I don't want to be a dog.
I wouldn't want to be.
I want to be something cool.
They don't live long enough.
I want to be one of those animals that will eat you. Are you kidding?
I think an eagle or some kind of bird. Get the hell out of here.
Flying would be sweet. Yeah.
Are we saying mystically here, so it just like happens, or are we saying like full blown medically and there's a physical procedure?
Well, I think it's a tusk situation where you have to be like transformed.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
An ant. Maybe a big ass ant.
Yeah.
If you extrapolate that strength,
don't body shame the ants.
No, not like I'm not fat shaming it. I'm not fat shaming the ant. Ants can be swole. That's a big fucking ant.
Yeah.
This is
That
true.
must be a panda.
We better hope it's not a big fucking ant.
Yes.
Komodo dragon. That's close to me. I want to be a very specific animal though. I want to be Gustav the crocodile.
Oh.
But dog, you get to hang out in a house.
Hacks. Like
what?
You
Hacks.
get to hang out in a house as a dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
I get to eat villagers as Gustav.
You don't get to pick who your owner is.
Grafted in. That'd be horrible.
You know what I mean?
Dan would be defeated by a screen door.
I'd like to be a Florida skunk ape just to fuck with people.
You could probably do that, dude.
Hey,
That's not an
Bigfoot's not a
impossibility.
bad choice. Yeah, I'm gonna go Bigfoot. So I can be fucking taller than this bullshit that the Lord gave me.
I'm going to stick with the parasite that replaces animals' tongues because then no animals eating me. Get me out of the last question.
Yeah, Simothia. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. Simothia exigua. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I love that thing. That's the coolest isopod ever.
Actually,
that's the name of this episode right now. Coolest isopod ever.
I know, right?
What about cephalopods?
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna be an octopus.
Yeah, that's actually up there. If I could be a giant octopus, preferably.
Yeah.
That way I could really do some damage.
Yeah.
The blue whale, the biggest one. If you're gonna be a whale.
Yeah, but whales kind of suck, man.
They're too gentle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not so deep. Nobody bothers with it.
Plankton.
Kind of blow,
I can't eat plankton the rest of my life.
Yeah. I saw blackfish.
They're
I don't
right
want to take a chance of being a
Yeah.
whale.
Yeah.
Blackfish would be my reason not to be a whale.
You'd be
Pretty
stuck in SeaWorld with a flaccid
devastating.
dorsal.
Yeah, just rage killing all my trainers. I don't know.
I think eagle.
Yeah, goddamn ponytail, bitch.
Why? Nobody can kill your ass. You're not supposed to.
Go ahead, Brenda.
Yeah.
Fucking breathe down here.
If you still have human intelligence, which I'm assuming you would in this scenario, I don't know. I guess bird, just fly high enough you can't get shot. I guess that kind of makes sense. We're in lobster territory. The lobster are Yorgos Lanthimos.
I don't want to be a lobster.
I think they're immortal, right? Like they just don't.
I
die
definitely don't want that.
You don't want to be in a restaurant grocery store with your claws rubber banded together for the rest of your life.
Right.
That sucks.
What about a tardigrade? They're indestructible.
They go to space.
They're not indestructible. They're only indestructible if they've put themselves in stasis. The rest of the time, they're actually very, very destructible. So,
well, I mean,
horseshoe crab.
I would like to live my life in stasis. So,
horseshoe crab. That would be nice. You're pretty much a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, shoebill stork.
You know what?
A mantis shrimp, because can you imagine the amount of
Great white
power
shark.
you get in a punch with a human-sized mantis shrimp?
Are those the pistol shrimps?
Yeah, yeah.
The motherfuckers can crack a glass.
Yeah,
on
so
an
if it's
aquarium
human
tank.
size, how much does that scale up to? You cannot go through a whole
Jeez.
building.
I love it when they see the video of them doing it because they like get fucking thrown back by by the recoil.
It could be a sea monkey and just confuse everyone. Like this doesn't look like a monkey at all. It looks like someone's trying to drown an insect.
What are those brine shrimp?
Yeah. But then you can dry out and just come back a couple of decades later and nothing's happened.
You know, Walt Disney that shit, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just don't find yourself in a Ruggiero Deodato film. That's your main goal.
Yeah.
Stick clear of Lenzi too.
Yeah, I'm thinking turtles are not the way to go.
No.
You know what though? A turtle's penis is much longer than its body, so you'd have that going for you.
Yeah, but you have to date other tortoises.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you'd be the fucking like the big swinging dick of the tortoises, man.
That does not seem like a life to me.
You'd be this fucking gigolo tortoise, man. You'd be
But not if all the other male tortoises are there. Then you're just one of many.
I don't know, man. I'm
Just
just
a
saying.
dick in a sea of more dicks.
Yeah.
See, my wiener dog is a rescue. He was a stud, right? At a
Wiener dog was a stud.
He was a
That
stud,
does
man.
not make sense.
He's retired now, and that man has lived a life of leisure. It looks
The Dotson bloodline.
Yeah.
He is. You know what that man is? He was just used and fed, and then he came here to sleep on a bed till he dies.
So you got him like Mark Wahlberg at the end of Boogie Nights, basically.
Yeah, I got Dirk Diggler. That's what I should have named him. I am a big, bright, shining star.
Man, like, okay, so I know that we were talking about AI earlier. It's like, see, this is what would be great about having an AI program, like using AI to turn each one of us into the animals we just talked about.
There you go.
Yeah,
I'm sure someone out there can.
I mean, it has its uses, yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
you can do. Hold on.
Definitely.
Well, no,
I want to see what happens if AI uses this stream to learn from.
Oh,
Jesus
God.
Christ. We just undid the Magna Carta.
Oh, I love it.
My contribution to AI is, look, I just started listening to the audio book for Stephen King's Carrie. It's the 50th anniversary. It's got an introduction by Margaret Atwood, and the entire book is read by Sissy Spacek. I don't want to hear an AI voice. Yeah, I don't want to hear an AI voice reading Stephen King's Carrie.
Cool.
I want to listen to
love
somebody
Sissy.
like Sissy Spacek.
I love
That
her.
is
I
cool.
But it
totally
could be
look like
AI
Carrie.
Sissy Spacek, right? I mean,
No.
they can do that shit now, right? I mean,
Yeah, sadly they can.
Yeah.
See, that's one of those films, like, they've tried to do Carrie several times.
yeah.
Yes.
And the problem is, like, De Palma figured it out, and there's nowhere to do it better.
Yeah, exactly.
Got the right people, I mean, that cast is amazing when you look at it. Everyone rocks.
Yeah.
It has the right amount of violence to teenage drama. It has all the angst in the world. And the climax of that film is pretty much as good as horror gets.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the dumb jump scare, because actually I would like the jump scare to be removed from the film. I'm talking about just that the prom scene onward is fucking perfect.
Yes.
And
yes,
every time they announce
home
they're
with
doing
the
it
mom.
again, I'm like, how do you think you're going to make this better? Like, this is it. That film may be a better film than the book is a book in many ways. You can't compare them directly, but that film is pretty freaking perfect.
But how many of them don't think they can
There
do
you
it
go.
better?
Ooh,
They just
The
think they're
Rage.
going to make a lot of money.
Rage.
Yeah, you're right.
I like The Rage.
I do
Yeah.
too.
I don't mind the rage.
I thought it was pretty good. I actually interviewed the director of The Rage years and years
Oh.
ago.
Yeah, Shay, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, didn't she also do Poison Ivy?
yes.
Strip to Kill.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh.
That's awesome. What was she like?
She was really great. She was so nice and just, like I felt like I could just talk to her forever.
Nice.
Came up through Roger Corman, and
Yes.
did get some bigger stuff. Yeah.
I love
I-
her.
Speaking of Corman, I think I talked to Dan about this. Is anybody familiar with The Terror?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I just learned about this movie.
It just,
And
the Film Detective label restored it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I finally
looks
watched
amazing.
it. The story behind it is far better than the movie.
Well, yeah. If you see the film,
yeah,
rated as all hell.
Yeah, but I mean, the story behind it was fascinating.
Yeah.
Good film considering. I mean, I'm not going to say
Right.
it's a modern horror or a horror classic, but it is. I mean,
For
that's
what it is.
impressive. Yeah. Shooting that
6 different directors.
At least.
No story. Just we have Boris Karloff for like 2 more days.
We have Boris Karloff at a castle set. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
we're gonna get our money's worth.
And then he fucked Boris Karloff on the back end.
Well, Karloff was just about to go to Mexico to make the quartet of real career enders. So, I mean, it was the perfect time to get him.
Yeah.
He fared better than Bella, though. I mean, he stayed relevant a lot longer.
Yeah. Sort of. I mean, but it's so screwy because right before that he was in Europe working with Bava. So like talk about a crazy like 9-year like descent.
Karloff, I mean, one thing that I can tell you, having worked with Conrad Brooks, was that some of that jealousy was real, because I guess Bella did make some comments even back in the day. And yeah, I don't know what it was. Of course, Bella, passed much earlier, but Karloff was still, he managed to get the Grinch and some different things. So, but I like those cheesy Mexican horror movies he did. I'm not saying they're good.
So you're the one.
Not saying they're good.
No, I think they're interesting watches. I wouldn't call them good films. I think that you could do worse for guilty pleasure reviews. But
yeah.
So The Terror, what year is that?
65.
Depends.
I thought it was 63 actually. 63.
Yeah, it depends with that one. Yeah, you might be right though.
It's The Terror. The thing about The Terror is that I had a VHS of it. It was released by Star Video in about 1984. That I bought at a Kmart. Okay, because it was one of the few direct like you could buy for a reasonable amount of money. It was probably $15 at the time, which today would be $30. By the way, it still wasn't cheap. But you could own it. You could own The Terror. You could own Night of the Living Dead. You could own there was just films you could own. But that was a very special time period. And I had The Terror, and I must have watched that tape a million times because that's what you did when you owned 6 movies. You watched all 6 of them every week of your life.
For sure.
The early VHS days were a thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I have a big soft spot for The Terror and Little Shop of Horrors, which was also a Star Video release. And what I realized is it's funny how many films Corman allowed to end up public domain simply through sloppiness. And yet the guy was supposedly a penny pincher. Isn't that kind of like a wonderful irony?
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how so many of Corman's movies hold up today versus whatever was number 1 at the box office that week that nobody remembers.
Dude, Mask of Red Death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a stone cold masterpiece that's never been called out as anything more than an exploitation film. It is a film classic, period.
Yes.
Yeah. Mask of the Red Death
too. I mean, I love the Pit and Pendulum.
Yeah.
Well, obviously the cast of Pit and Pendulum gets it there, but yeah. That whole Corman Poe line, which has 2 Lovecraft adaptations in the middle of the Poe line, I don't know, and I'll never understand that, but it happened. But it's such a magical period, and at the time they were thought of as like matinee fodder. Well, either we've fallen very, very far, or that was just a really magical time for film.
I miss what we could do with matte paintings back in the day.
Yes.
Yep.
Opticals and
just how much that added, and the Corman Poe stuff every Halloween. It's a must.
13 Women is a film that modern horror film fans need to revisit or visit for the first time if they haven't.
Yes.
That film is shockingly modern.
Yeah.
Shocking.
It's a great film. And again, with as popular as the slasher subgenre is, those early like the stepping stone films to get us there should all be revered. We shouldn't be pretending that Psycho and Peeping Tom were the beginning, because they weren't.
Right.
No.
Warner Archive just released on Blu-ray the Myrna Loy film, the Fu Manchu movie, The Mask of the Fu Manchu.
Yeah,
it just released on Blu-ray, and The Mask of Fu Manchu. Yeah, she was also in 13 Women, which is also a pretty shocking film for its time. I got to revisit that.
Yeah.
People sleep on early exploitation in general, even some of the sexploitation stuff. I mean, Ingagi.
I love Ingagi.
Ingagi.
Okay, so wait. Be fair. You only really love the last 10 minutes of Ingagi, but
yeah.
Man, it's not possible to watch that film and not be grinning.
Yeah.
Up to that point, it's pretty much a travelogue of Africa, and it's not real fun. But at the end, holy God, that movie earns.
You talk exploitation. Koji Wakamatsu was the king of exploitation.
Yes. There's so much out there to discover. I mean,
I'm just now digging into the Coffin Joe, Zaidu Kaishon.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
It's I mean, so many people I hear they shitting on it, man. I just don't understand, man. It's
so good.
Yeah. Coffin Joe is amazing. It's been kind of cool since that box set came out to see people discover it for the first time.
Right.
I mean, he was the Vincent Price of his home country, so that considered the first horror film out that way. So
you can see a huge influence from Baba, and Buddy does his own thing too. So
Riccardo Fridi, who we don't talk about nearly as much.
Right.
When we talk about the Italians, talk about black and white era horror. Yeah, definitely a big influence on Coffin Joe, especially at midnight.
Yeah.
So,
yes. Yeah. I recommend that box set quite a bit. It sucks that they had to have that replacement disc debacle, but I've been.
Did they make that right with everyone finally?
Yep. I had to get on their ass a couple times, but they made it right.
That's what I was hearing about that. There was constantly like a shuffle with that.
If you ordered it outside of the Arrow website, it was kind of a pain. Yeah, I did too. Diabolic sorted it out for me. But nonetheless, I mean, dive into it, guys. I mean, Coffin Joe, another great Halloween recommendation. If you've never had the pleasure of seeing those films, please do. Oh, Darren with the essential.
Everyone knows my
Spiral Staircase.
Everyone knows my fixation on Spiral Staircase as not the first slasher. Still, I will. Night of Terror is where I put that flag. But I mean, we realize that the 30s were a powerful time for the slasher film. It's kind of shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's only because the 40s and 50s didn't bring much in the subgenre. Right, and then and then the 50s you get the kind of like the psychodrama is starting to become a thing, but it's not actually to the slasher. But then the proto slashers in the 60s, it's off to the races.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a weird sort of gap in between there, but the slasher goes back very far. We're probably coming up on a 100-year anniversary for slashers.
Close, yeah. Definitely over the 90 year.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot coming out right now. I mean, you mentioned Film Detective, which very underrated as far as some of the stuff they're restoring. The Blu-rays look beautiful. Also Indicator, which on Dead End Drive-In is coming up soon. You'll get to see some reviews, but I mean the stuff they've done with Gene Roland's films,
have them all.
Yeah, it's breathtaking.
Ooh.
Like I don't understand how it looks that good.
Yeah, that's the Patrick release.
I haven't picked up Patrick yet. I need to.
I need to too, and I did listen to Stone's review of that. It was pretty good.
Yeah. That was a good episode, Stone. I have the previous Blu-ray, but I'm gonna upgrade because they're just doing such an amazing job. Like they haven't missed yet with anything that I've seen in terms of restoration. Everything they've done, I would say, is a big leap from, in the case of Gene Roland, the Redemption Blu-rays, big leap.
Yeah, it's the Fascination disc has no right to look as good as it does.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's
gorgeous.
And that's why, I mean, I know that Dan and I kind of have a disagreement about Two Words from Vampires. I think it's lesser. He thinks it's greater, but
well, it's lesser than those films for sure.
But I mean, it's later too. I mean, that's the thing. But I picked that up even though I'm kind of lukewarm on it, simply because that line is so fucking good. Like, if I ever want to watch those films, this is going to be the best way to ever watch them.
Yeah. And Darren mentions Old Dark House, Cat and the Canary.
Blu-ray. The Black Moon release is coming out this month for Fay Ray Jungle Voodoo Mayhem delights. Dorothy Burgess is in it. That's one of my favorites of the year.
Yeah. I have the Night of the Demon release.
As do I. I mean, that film is hard to not follow wherever it goes.
Yeah, I hope everybody's got their pencils out because there's a lot of good recommendations here. You can't go wrong with either of the Night of the Demon, which we're going to cover another Night of the Demon, unless maybe not a classic of the genre, but a classic of the Sasquatch subgenre coming up soon.
The Harrier slasher film.
Yes. Good biker scene.
That's what everyone remembers from it. I'd say that the home invasion at the very end is pretty solid. There's long segments of that film that are slower, but
sure,
the high points are high points. It's very 70s exploitation kind of vibe. Like, in that where there wasn't money, you can tell there wasn't money, but that's the charm of it. Like, I'm so tired of watching films where everything looks like it's passed through 17 computers to be color corrected within an inch of its life.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. I
saw the re-release of Alien and of the theatrical version of Alien, which is what was cool about this year's, because Alien gets re-released every fucking year now, right? But this year they did the theatrical release from '79, although remastered, which is my preferred cut, even though there's scenes I love that unfortunately don't make that cut. And it was watching it, I was just dumbfounded by the fact that how much trust that Ridley Scott had in the audience to have a little bit of patience, but also take the time to take in the wonder and the horror. And the 3-act film in which each act is faster in pacing than the previous acts, significantly. But it's so trusting and so respectful of its audience, and I don't feel that way with most modern stuff. I just don't. Even the stuff I like. It was kind of amazing, and there was people in the theater. It wasn't like, So I think people are hungry for just going back to slowing down at the theater, getting that escapism. Not everything has to be like a Resident Evil sequel in speed and pacing.
Oh, I agree. I agree. A lot of modern audiences forget that horror is about mood and atmosphere over just everything being like a video game.
Yeah, but you're also talking about generations, these younger generations who maybe because of social media or whatever, they have a shorter attention span.
Oh yeah.
So they don't want something that's going to drag on, like I Saw the Devil. It's 2.5 hours. Didn't feel like that to me. Somebody younger might be like, all right, enough. I can't watch this anymore.
Love I Saw the Devil too. Yeah. Great film.
I love that movie.
Yeah. I'm down. That thing could have been 2 more hours long. I wouldn't have cared. I was good.
Yeah, I mean, it flies by for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think it helps to understand what they're doing. Although surprisingly, there's some younger horror fans I know that watched it and would have no idea. Oh, they're talking about Criswell, that still enjoyed it.
So Jacob is asking, has any actor successfully conveyed terror as well or better than Veronica Cartwright in Alien? I don't think so. What's interesting is that when that film was released, it was not beloved, and that just happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. The lights in this room just decided to die for a second. I don't know.
Quick, grab the Ouija board.
I have plenty of them, but none of them do anything.
Criswell's gonna contact you.
That's okay. Now we're losing people. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, no, when Alien came out, Veronica Cartwright's performance was pretty panned. People thought she was over the top and unrealistic. And partly that is because the director's cut is a lot kinder to her performance. It gives her more to do. But that theatrical, I think she's a great counterbalance to Ripley's stoicism. And I think you need her. And I hate to make it about 2 girls. I hate to make it about that, but it kind of was what they were doing.
No, I think she was pitch perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, she adds so much to that. You don't really get her name thrown out there a lot either. You know, we talk about Sigourney.
She won a Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actress for Alien, and she was later in Witches of Eastwick. But I know she hasn't done a lot recently.
Yeah, no, I think she's kind of semi-retired, but yeah, what a performance! I mean, Sigourney Weaver, rightfully so, we talk about because one of the great iconic performances, period, in film. But yeah,
Veronica. I was thinking. Oh yeah.
No, go ahead, Stone.
It's kind of a Gabriel Byrne. Tony
Collette
situation. Yeah. Like Gabriel Byrne is so good in Hereditary, but we don't talk about it because Tony Collette is just so next level.
Yeah.
So, serious question for you guys: an ensemble cast for films of that era. There's 2 films that come immediately to mind, whereas everyone is bringing not just their A game, but they're bringing their suitcases full of A games. And that's Alien and The Thing. Which do you prefer as an ensemble? Ooh. I'll say Alien easily, and I can defend that, but
I got to go to The Thing.
I agree.
Yeah, The Thing.
I would actually say Alien just because it gets me every single time. And I love The Thing. I think The Thing's fantastic.
As do I.
I love The Thing.
The tone of Alien that does it for me.
Yeah.
I love The Thing, but I'm going to go with Alien just for Jones the cat. I mean, that's my favorite character in the whole movie.
It's just like the thing is the whole paranoia vibe it has. And then, I mean, of course, some of the greatest special effects of all time. Alien, I mean, it's hard to compare those two, though, really.
They're perfect films.
But they do, but they both do have that, the claustrophobia and the paranoia in common with each other.
As well as the body horror, paranoia.
Yes.
Yeah. And the self-sacrifice themes, which no one talks about in either film.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is why, I promise I won't do this again. Alien 3 gets it right. Yeah, fuck aliens.
I got to admit, Alien 3 in the theater was a horrible experience, though. Like, it really was.
For me, it wasn't. I love that film from day one.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. But you see, I love Misery, so. and it really helps if you don't like aliens. Because I think Fincher probably would be very nice talking about Cameron's film. But I think it's pretty easy when you look at the film to go, yeah, he despises that movie.
Yeah,
you guys like
you can see that.
Well, whatever. Like that series gets a lot of like selective blinders on it, but every film in that series undoes the previous film. That's what that series does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like Resurrection, like it was like, oh, we killed off Sigourney, no problem, she's back, no problem. That's the same thing. That's every film undoes the previous film. So,
I'm a Resurrection weirdo. I always really loved Resurrection.
Oh, me too.
I don't mind it.
I
don't
like
mind
that
it.
too.
It's
I
not.
I mind it.
It's not my favorite.
I definitely mind it.
It's not my favorite, but I mean, I had fun with it. But
I
Alien
like the
3,
visual of the xenomorphs in the water. I thought that was beautifully done. But
oh yeah.
Nearly cost some lives shooting that.
True.
Who wastes a Brad Dourif supporting performance or a Ron Perlman supporting performance though? Because that film does both.
I don't think they were really wasted. I do. Okay, wasted and they didn't get enough time, or
I mean, Perlman does.
It's Alien Resurrection.
You're sharing the screen. I mean, Michael Wincott is in that too. There's a lot of great character actors.
Yeah, and none of them are given nearly enough to do.
Well, I guess I can see what you're saying, but
I don't know.
I'm not saying that's a perfect movie. It's not. I just really love the oddball vibe that it's got going.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have improved it if you'd cut Sigourney out and you just had that crew maybe botching a robbery or something like that there, and that's what led to the Xenos getting out?
Cut a couple characters more than that still, so they can focus on people who actually going to, convey the screen. Make the fear of, a government bigger. Make the segregationist or the separatist androids a fully thought out idea, because it's not. Because Winona Ryder's motivations make no sense, and Winona's pretty freaking terrible in that movie. Sorry, kids, she is. I don't know. I think Resurrection is a mess.
You don't like the line "Father's dead, asshole"? That's one of the best lines in Alien Resurrection.
It very well might be. That might be the problem with Alien Resurrection.
Well, you're not a Winona hater. I know Heathers is one of your all-time favorites.
My third favorite film of all time.
So, I think what I like, one of the big things I do like about Alien Resurrection is that they make Sigourney part alien, and also obviously the alien queen is technically also part human because their DNAs combined. But the fact that they did something so sacrilegious as to make Ripley part of what she hates the most and has been hell bent on killing, I love it.
But what do they do with it?
They make her a badass half alien gal.
Oh, so they make
play
her
basketball like son of a bitch.
Oh,
I know.
They make her Sarah Connor. Wow, that's great. Fuck you, movie.
Oh man, make her Sarah Connor part Terminator next time.
They did that with her son in one of those films. So what's the difference?
No, not her son. Her. I mean,
The scientists talk about them being hybrid, right? But the way xenomorphs work and their life cycle work, they're always hybrids.
Yeah.
So it makes no real sense to me in that respect. So again, I get some enjoyment from the movie as just something to stick on and just enjoy for what it is. But
I mean, I know what it was. It was a cash grab. I mean, it was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to defend it. Are
you guys excited for Romulus?
Did you see the rumor that the xenomorph in it is a surviving big chap?
Yeah, it's the original.
Yeah,
that's pretty confirmed.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Alien in the theater too, and they had that featurette beforehand. I mean, and I'm with Lauren. I mean, I dread CGI face huggers. I really dread that.
Yeah,
I dread that,
well,
man.
They did that.
Yeah.
And the youth crew is a warning flag for me too, because that can go wrong real fast.
I'm willing to be open-minded about that, but
I'm quietly optimistic for Romulus. They have said that the xenomorphs are mostly going to be men in suits as well, with just augmented by CG, which I think is the way to go.
I do hear that they are showing us the next evolution of the alien finally, which is something that has been a pet peeve of mine that we haven't gotten. They seem to have stopped at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm down for that. I worry they're trying to make this appeal to a younger generation. And
that's what they always do, though.
This might not be the franchise for that.
Older hardcore fans,
This might not be the franchise for that.
I don't know. Somebody will screw it up somewhere.
I think just for the casual fan, it's going to appeal because they're going to get xenomorphs again that they didn't get from what I love Prometheus. I love hard sci-fi.
Me too.
I love Prometheus, but I know that's not, I think, what the majority of the fan base wants. So, although apparently this ties into that too, so it's not ignoring it.
Oh, there's my understanding is there's an explicit resolution to the end of Covenant.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, finally. Okay, good.
So you'll know what David did with his cargo.
Yeah.
Even though this is in many ways a prequel to that. It's all kinds of funky time, but my understanding is it takes every film into account, which is the only. I will say that. Thank God that aboard of Blomkamp, Alien 5 never happened. That we wanted to short circuit the franchise and take 3 and 4 out of the world, and I hate that shit. Like I would never take Aliens out of the world for you guys. I try to pretend it doesn't exist, but I would never take it away from you guys because you love it. So to have a filmmaker actually want to make a film that actually decanonizes existing movies, I think is so disrespectful. Look what happened with Halloween when they did. They made it worse again.
It's also just lazy. If you got a skilled writer in there, you don't have to retcon shit, motherfucker.
They're just a great film.
Right.
Yeah. Just add already exists.
Yeah. I appreciate when a series can maintain canon, which is so rare, obviously, in the big franchises. But even something like Chucky, and I'm not big into the show at all.
No,
it's maintained canon. All those movies exist. I'd rather Chucky not be launching nuclear weapons at people, but
are you serious?
That's the least crazy thing that happens in that show. It gets way.
I checked out after season 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
I checked that out after the first episode of the first season.
I mean,
I didn't
like
start watching it.
Yeah, I like some goofiness, but get maybe Bride of Chucky goofiness. This really takes Seed of Chucky and then it ups it tenfold as far as
Critters level almost.
No, more than that. You don't understand how crazy that show's gotten, and again, not in a good way. I really wanted to like it, and I was sticking with it, but a lot of teen romance stuff that people stopped caring about a long time ago, and it's just not. I don't know, but people do like it, so.
Can we have a killer doll movie about a killer doll?
Yeah, Chucky takes the back seat sometimes in that story. Yeah. There's also a lot of I'm a complete asshole character, and then at the flip of a switch, I'm not anymore. There's a lot of things I don't like about that show.
Yeah, he's kind of almost an anti-hero because I got that feeling in Cult of Chucky.
Yeah.
Where it was I can feel that he's turning into a cool heel.
Yeah. I like Curse a lot too. I just wish we could rewind. Curse was getting back to what that should have been, and I don't know.
I gotta be honest. The first one is the only one I really give a shit about.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I've never wanted to like any Child's Play film. I've walked into everyone going, we don't need a slasher doll franchise. We just don't need this. I don't want to like it. And I hate to say this, but I've liked every one of the films. And that's
no, really?
Yeah, I never set out to do it. The third film is my least favorite of the bunch, and a lot of the fans love it the most, so I don't get that. But they're all kind of between barely good and pretty great. And that should never happen. I feel betrayed that they let me down and made good films.
So you even like Cult? That surprises me.
Cult has a lot of great ideas. Its execution is all over the place.
Yeah.
Well, you see, a lot of people get upset because they change something, but I'm sitting there saying 7 or 8 films in, whatever it is, you better fucking change something.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch the same. Otherwise, I'll just watch the old movies. If they, and by the way, I don't have that itch. I never have an itch to watch a Child's Play film. It's just as a new one comes out, I'll go to the theater and see it. I do not own them on home video, and I don't need to because I don't get the itch to watch them. I'm not. Listen, as I get older, I am less and less of an '80s guy. I was never like the '80s were the best decade of horror to begin with, but every year that goes by, there's less films from the '80s that I have warm fuzzies about.
You can make a case for the '70s. A lot of people. I mean, I get it.
I find myself going back, further, 100 years back, and shit, trying to check shit out I've never seen. So,
well, I think the '70s just had a bigger variety of things going on. But I mean, any decade that brings you The Exorcist, Alien, The Omen, it's kind of hard to argue with that decade, right? It kind of owns it all. And if you guys like Dawn of the Dead, throw that in there. If I like Dawn of the Dead just fine when I need some sleep.
I call it yawn.
By the way, you know what? I tried to watch Godzilla -1 again last night.
Yeah.
15 minutes and I was asleep.
That one surprises me.
Boring.
I've heard everybody putting that one over.
I loved it. I loved it. I'm surprised.
I loved it too.
Give me the MonsterVerse. I'll take it. That feels like the Toho films of my youth. This self-important thing that doesn't feel authentic to the time period it's portraying, but people are pretending it does. No. Give me fun Godzilla back. Even the original film is fun. It's just fun in a kind of traumatic way. Sorry, this one was my biggest disappointment of last year by far.
Damn. I still haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but great things from everybody, so I don't know.
I just another thing Chucky did. Not to keep bitching about that, but I'm just shocked.
Chucky clearly did something to Dan's lunch money at some point.
There's an episode where the cast of Bound, all playing themselves, reunites in the house.
Amazing.
And it's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and I love seeing Gina Gershon. I love her. But it's like it's cool for like 5 or 10 minutes. It's like as a weekly series, I'm not gelling with that. Like it's just the tone.
That's just the thing that's happening.
Oh yeah, like John Waters is in the show now. I love John Waters.
I read about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. I've met him
briefly.
He was in Seed, and he's in this as the doll maker.
But two different characters, not related to each other.
Yeah, they're not related, but yeah, I don't know. I'm done bitching about Chucky. I'm sorry.
Are you going to bitch about tarot now?
Oh, tarot.
Why do you guys go see this shit?
Well, I do read tarot a little bit. But I also like to hate watch things. No, you know this. I love to complain. This is part of why I'm here.
I just don't do that anymore. I don't go to see this shit anymore when I know there's no chance.
Look, I'm over here taking bullets for you guys seeing shit like Night Swim and tarot.
No, I didn't do that. No.
Yeah. Dirk, it might be the bald guy thing, but we have it right. We're right on this one.
I mean, tarot was just like tarot felt like a movie that was like lost to time. Like it should have been 10 years ago. Like it felt like a 2011, 2012 thing that just nobody watched. Did you get that vibe, Dan?
Oh yeah, I don't want to do spoilers, but like the way they kind of cop out of some stuff too, and it just gets so silly. It also hurt not having an R rating because they set up a lot of good kills, but then it's just like we can't show anything. So
did y'all go see? Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was done.
Have y'all seen First Omen?
No.
Yes.
I attempted to, but it didn't go well.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I like it. Okay.
Dan, we can't discuss that on the air.
Yeah.
I very much look forward to seeing the film.
Working on it.
Yeah.
I love the Italy setting. I know they changed something that's pretty major, but it's pretty good, man. I like it.
The Omen's not close to my heart, so I'm okay with changes as long as they make a good movie.
Yeah. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than you'd expect.
Yeah.
I prefer Immaculate, and that was weird having two nun movies back to back like
you
that.
just like nuns.
Yeah,
I like convent horror. I do. I like nunsploitation. You're not getting any Alucarda kind of stuff in these movies, but Immaculate has one hell of an ending. Like the blasphemy is strong with Immaculate. So I do recommend that one.
I still haven't seen it, but I chose First Omen. So.
I don't know which one you'll prefer, Dirk. I'd be interested when you see them both. Oh, some hate for the monsters. What up, Griffin, by the way?
The second biggest film of the year.
Yeah.
Godzilla Kong New Empire is the second biggest grossing film of the year. Who saw that coming? I didn't.
Mhm.
That's
Still
why
had
we're
some
getting
juice in it. Yeah.
well. It's closing in on the first Godzilla, which will make it the biggest film in the series.
It was lower budget too, so I
Much
think
lower budget.
Yeah, the profit margin is going to be pretty good on that.
Yeah,
so
that's why we're getting 3 television series and 4 more films. I mean,
nah. I think I know the answer to this, but any shot you think we ever get an American Gamera?
No.
Yeah.
I suspect not.
No. Absolutely no.
Okay, so
I
bear
know
with
we
me a second.
won't, but
Bear with me a second. Maybe as something like a kooky animated film with like a Will Ferrell.
Oh Jesus.
Oh.
I could see that kind of shit happening. But what you want and what's in your head, no.
Yeah, I'm good then.
Gamera, Bloomhouse Kaiju series.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh. Yeah, not. It's a good year overall so far.
It is.
Stop motion. Don't sleep on that. I really enjoyed
Keep hearing
stop
about
motion.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot actually this year that I think would even appeal to the horror fan that isn't out there watching a lot of new stuff. I think there's a lot that plays well.
Search out Shaitan. It's on Netflix. You're gonna love it.
Need to watch that. Yeah.
It's also Amazon Prime. It's not Prime, but Amazon you can rent it. It's for like $4 or something. Completely worthwhile. It's if you want something that's gonna engross you for 2.5 hours and you're not gonna feel that time. That movie.
Yeah.
Well worth the time and money.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, it's an hour and a half. We're probably going to call it a night. Poor Matt is looking at daylight through his blinds. Big Ben is hitting 12. No, I did that 4 hours ago. So, guys, why don't you each give a word about your shows, what you do on the show? Dan and Dirk, you can actually drop a knife and fight for the rights to do it, I guess.
Go ahead, Dan.
Okay. Well, Dead End Drive-In here on the Visited by Voices Network. We have another show coming up. We're going to be tackling what did we tackle? I do too many shows. Gene Roland's Grapes of Death.
Yeah.
And what else did we do?
Vampiros Lesbos.
Vampiros Lesbos.
Yeah.
Yes. So
that was a fun thumbnail to make.
Oh, Jesus Franco's.
Exactly. Yes. So French zombies and lesbian vampires. How can you go wrong on the next?
The face of Yoda.
The face of Yoda. Yes, Jess Franco. You will learn all about that.
Colleen.
Everything I'm doing is Asian, mostly Southeast Asian. Horror, exploitation I will definitely get into as well, though, because I love 60s and 70s Japanese exploitation films.
Excellent. Matt.
Yeah, Cabinet of Curios. I cover horror media that is, in the context of certainly being released in the UK, a little unusual, a little obscure, or that I just think is severely underrated. And there's always on the social media a badly drawn image on a dry whiteboard to give you a clue as to what it's going to be, which I will show you. The latest clue is now here.
Oh, okay.
Trunk door.
So that will give you a clue as to what I'm covering on the next one. It wasn't what I actually planned to cover, but I saw it and thought, no, fuck it, I'm talking about that one.
Beautiful. Sam.
So I host a little show called Sheeby Jeebies, and we also have a section for Sheeby Not So Jeebies, which we usually just cover non-horror related movies there. But everything is just long-form discussions about one movie in particular, whether it's something we love or something that we hate. And usually, you know, I'll be doing shows with my husband, Tall Chris, or, you know, Stone Hops on a lot. We just did one recently for the MST3K movie, which I'll send to Lauren after he puts up Ghostbusters 2, which we're currently in the process of going through all the Ghostbusters movies. So Answer the Call comes pretty soon.
Yikes.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. You do take bullets for us after all.
Well, Jonathan's supposed to join us on that one, so.
Stone.
Oh, well, I got the 60 Minutes of Stone here on the VBV Network. Last episode was on Richard Franklin, his
Cocky and Thrillers. Anyone want to take it from there?
Some of the Carrie movies.
Excellent. Excellent.
Oh,
Dirk, just say something random because I think Dan covered it.
Something random?
Just random, whatever you have in mind. Whatever you want. Use the mic for whatever. Do a foreigner cover for.
Oh shit!
There you go.
Rome arms to the teeth, man. Check it out.
All right. For myself, you'll be seeing another autopsy in a couple weeks. Obviously, this is a crazy week for me, so it's not going to be right around the corner, but it's going to, before the end of the month, you will see another autopsy. This one from a personal favorite that I saw in theaters when I had to drive into New York to do so multiple times, like more than I want to admit, probably, because I fell in love with the movie instantly, and that is Brad Anderson's Session 9. So if you want to find out how that movie's storytelling mechanics work, you're going to have that opportunity in a long-form video by the end of the month. Everyone, I want to thank everyone in this panel for all your hard work you put in this channel. There's a lot of time that goes into every show on here, and I want to thank you guys for trusting me to give you a platform. We're building something cool here. You can feel it. It feels great to not be all on your own trying to etch out something on the wall. We can help each other. To the audience out there, man, thank you for coming along for the ride. I guess everyone knows we hit a milestone. I will repeat that I am never going to monetize this channel.
Boo!
Never going to happen. Money corrupts.
Getting super chats, man.
Money corrupts, and we're not going to cover Halloween. We're not going to cover the Halloween franchise every week for clicks. We're just not going to do it on the VBV.
Good.
In the meantime, I wanted to say, everyone, have a good night. Especially Matt, who's sleep deprived because of us, and
night,
we
Matt.
will see you very soon.
There you go.